From the heart of America in Chicago, Illinois, it's time for Roker Radio with Al Roker Jr. And now, Al Roker Jr.
Sure that as terrible a day as this is for us, we will get through it because we are a strong nation, a nation that believes in itself.
Bodies flying out of the sky and you can't do nothing about it. You tell me what you think.
The victims were in airplanes or in their offices. Secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads.
We're going to just keep digging. We're going to keep trying to reach them. We're going to keep seeing if we hear noise, keep seeing if we can pull people out of there alive.
He just said, I want to let you all know that I love you very, very much in case I don't see you again. That the plane has been taken over by hijackers. And then I said, well, we love you very much too, Mark.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's a 10-4. We got a second tower down.
Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil.
All right, Roker Radio, Al Roker Jr.
Hey, I'm Tyler Cox with, of course, the sounds of 9/11.
Yes, and, you know, I felt that, well, you know what? Speaking of sounds of 9/11.
Right.
We figured that the best way to kind of commemorate 9/11 is to go on with our normal lives.
Do it American style.
Exactly. So we have actually come out. It is 9/11. We've actually come out to a bar.
Well, yeah.
We are at Gunners, 1467 North Milwaukee, and it is 9/11, and the Bears game is on right now.
Right. Well, you know,
and people are going on with their normal lives, and they are watching football and drinking and having a good time.
It's a great way to show that you made us stronger and you didn't keep us down.
Exactly. So that's what you're hearing in the background. Of course, what you just heard a minute or so ago, as you mentioned, Tyler, some of the sounds of 9/11, and I couldn't let this 10-year anniversary go by and just ignore it without saying something, without doing something.
When you hear that stuff, I mean, still goosebumps, and there always will be for everybody.
I know, and what's weird is, you know, there are a lot of people right now who, like my niece, for example, is a sophomore at Northern or one of these colleges in Illinois. I can never remember. And which one's the party school? That's the one she's at.
Yeah.
And
that's Western. That's
right.
where I went to school.
But she's like 9 years old when this happened.
Right. So they remember something bad happened.
Yeah, but, you know, not going to remember it to the extent of
right
that we do. But at the same time, the world that she's grown up in is completely
changed.
Different than the world that we have lived in for the majority of our lives.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So take the Wayback Machine back 10 years to September 11th, 2001. Where were you, Tyler? What were you doing?
When it happened, I was sleeping. But my ex was a journalist, so I got that phone call as soon as it happened.
So the ex was at work?
Yes.
Radio, newspaper, what?
Newspaper,
okay.
And it was just one of those things. My parents were in Disney World celebrating their 30th anniversary and got escorted out of Disney.
That's right, because they shut down Disney.
Well, you know, it's a major American target.
They thought it was a target. They shut down Disney. So when your ex, does your ex have a name, or are we not mentioning the person?
Yeah, we can mention his name, Rob.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I wasn't married to him. I don't care. So when he called you, what did he say? And then what was the first thing that came to your mind?
He said...
It had to have been, you've got to be kidding me?
He was just like, Tyler, you need to get up. You need to turn on the TV. This is happening right now. And, I'm sleeping. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on?
He said a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center?
Yes. He said, turn on the TV, watch the footage. A plane just crashed into the World Trade Center. I can't believe this is happening. And, of course, newspapers, just like everybody in radio and TV, scrambling like mad.
Yeah, right. Talk about, a sign of the times. The newspaper is the last thing that you'd want or would do you any good in that situation.
They had
that's
afternoon.
That's where the internet kicks in. That's when, live radio, live television. So you turn on the TV, and what did you see?
I thought it was a joke. It just didn't seem possible. But we live in that sheltered world where you don't think if you see something like that, you're like, wait, what movie am I watching?
Right. Yeah, well, and that's one of the things that I remember so vividly is how I couldn't wrap my mind around it.
Everything just changed.
It's like, people who come out of comas or whatever, and you tell them about whatever, the internet, or you tell them about something that didn't exist before they were in that coma.
Right.
And they can't wrap their mind around it.
Exactly.
The concept is completely foreign. So I remember, and I was on the air when it happened, and you'll actually get to hear that in just a few minutes. But seeing the smoke billowing out of the first building, and then as they went closer into it, seeing a hole in the building, and I'm going, what do you do now? How did this happen? I remember the first reports were a small plane has hit the building.
Right.
And all they had were like really far away shots where you could see the smoke.
Because
and then once
the
you
plane
got in
just
close,
dissipated.
Yeah.
It looked like it was a small plane because there wasn't anything
but
left.
Once you got in close, you saw a big, huge, gaping hole. So I'm going, what? What are they going to do? I'm going, all of those people from that point of impact above are going to die.
Yeah,
It's the first thing that kind of came to my mind.
Yeah, no thought that you're going to have to evacuate the entire World Trade Center.
Right. And the other thing that I remember from that day, very vividly, is it just seemed that every 20 minutes something else happened.
Oh, yeah, it just kept going.
And it was like, when is it going to end?
It was meticulously planned on their part.
It was a plane has hit the World Trade Center. Then like 15, 20 minutes later, it was like a plane hits the second tower.
Right.
Then 15, 20 minutes later, it was a plane has hit the Pentagon. Then 15, 20 minutes later, it was like there's a report that the White House is on fire. Then 15, 20 minutes later, the second building collapses.
Right.
Then 15, 20 minutes later, there's a report that there's a hijacked plane headed towards the Capitol or the White House. Then 15, 20 minutes later, building 1 collapses. Then 15, 20 minutes later, there's a plane crash in Pennsylvania.
Right.
So now it's 2.5 hours into this.
And you're going from east to west.
I'm getting chills thinking about it right now because I'm not ashamed to admit it, scared to death because it just seemed like it was happening not just in New York, it was happening in different locations.
Yes.
It was because if you recall, the FAA shut down all flights.
Everything.
But you still have at
flights.
9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, how many hundreds of planes are still in the air?
There's planes in the air even though it's shut down because they got to land.
Now, how many more planes have been hijacked?
Exactly. And
how many of these are flying bombs?
Right.
I mean,
And there's nothing worse for people like you and I to be speechless. It's one of our worst fears in the world.
Yes, when you're in radio, it's bad to be speechless.
If you're slammed with something and you can't think of what to say, you can't wrap your mind around it, So that's even worse because you're sitting there and you're like, I'm speechless. And you're scared for your family, you're scared for yourself, you're scared for your friends.
Yeah.
You're scared for everything.
Yeah, and then you immediately start thinking about people that you know that live in New York.
Right. And then when you're in Chicago, you're like, okay, what's west of New York?
And you can't after 15 minutes, you couldn't get a call in or out of New York.
Oh no.
You know, so that's going through your mind. Now, your hubby was at work at the newspaper. You were at home. Did you stay at home, or were you like, I've got to go somewhere and I've got to be with people, or did you just kind of stay there and watch it all day by yourself?
No,
I'm sure you didn't get home till late, right?
I jumped in the car and drove to Rockford to the radio station that I was working at to help out.
Just to kind of, and then what happened there? Was it just like
frenzy?
Did the music stop, or did you dedicate? Did
Pretty much
the
music
turn into a
stopped.
9/11, or did you continue to try and play music? Because that's the question. It's like, well, do we continue to play music so that people who don't want to deal with this have a diversion?
I believe we did like song, and then 10 minutes of talk, and then have to get in
another song.
Right, but that's the thing is that we'd say
it's tough to play Metallica when the nation is under a terrorist attack.
It'd be, here's this song, and we'll have more reports from you after that. Commercials all bumped. Sorry, clients.
Sorry.
We'll make it up to you.
Sorry, Joe Smith Chevrolet.
Right.
Not today.
Right. I mean, it was a frenzy. There's 3 music stations and 1 news talk station that I was working for, and it was running around that building like crazy.
Were you scared at all, or did going into work create enough of diversion?
I feed on the adrenaline rush. So
Sure.
for me, I was in game mode, go time. So I didn't really let myself think about it as much.
Sure, I have to admit I was scared, and I'll tell you why I was scared. Okay, so the Twin Towers get hit, the Pentagon gets hit.
You're in Chicago.
Okay? Now, so immediately the first thing that comes to mind is the Sears Tower.
Well, of course.
First thing that comes to mind is the Sears Tower.
It's the next largest building.
Then the second thing that comes to mind is, to me, speaking of the next largest building, do you know what the next largest building in America is to the Pentagon?
No.
The Merchandise Mart.
Merchandise Mart, yep.
Where we were broadcasting from.
Exactly.
And I'm getting chills just thinking about this. If you go to the Merchandise Mart, and if any of you have been there, there's a driveway, and then you have the busts of the heads of industry, Montgomery Ward and Sears and all these guys, Marshall Field, their busts are along the river. And then as you walk into the door, there is a plaque. On the front entrance of the Merchandise Mart. Do you know what that plaque says?
I have not been in there.
And I know it because I walked in there every day. That plaque says One World Trade Center. So I'm thinking, are they going to just target everything that's called the World Trade Center?
Right.
How do...
Right.
They're obviously trying to come after commerce and industry and all these type of things. So I was scared, and I couldn't get a hold of my wife. I ended up getting a hold of her. She was at work. They didn't have a TV.
Oh,
they didn't
so
have
they're
a TV.
clueless.
They didn't have a TV or radio. They didn't have anything. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. They did have a radio, but they didn't have a TV. Something else that happened was we had a big... we were located on the second floor of the Merchandise Mart. Big picture window so that you can look in and watch the show.
And you've got O'Hare, which is a place where lots of those planes still in the air are landing.
Right, exactly. So I can see out into the hallway of the Merchandise Mart, and it looks like a Godzilla movie. People are they're running.
Going crazy.
Because they've evacuated the building.
Right.
So people are just running past us, just trying to get out of the building. and I'm going. We're going. Should we stay here? What do we do? Are we supposed to? They're evacuating the building. Are we supposed to leave too?
Does the show go down with the ship?
Do we leave too? We're not we're a morning show, but this is not a news station. It's a music station. We can push a button and have music play indefinitely and not have to be here. God bless him, Robert Chase, who was the afternoon jock. He did a U-turn. He didn't even come in. He got halfway to work, turned around, and went right back home.
Never mind.
We ended up being on the air till about noon that day because the next jock didn't come in. But yeah, all those kind of things were going through my mind at the time, and then you start to think about who did this, how are we going to retaliate, all those different things. And then comes the subsequent moving forward past that day into what has happened since. And, of course, you fly all the time.
Yeah.
You've got, your Department of Homeland Security. You've got, the Patriot Act, which ended up just robbing us of a lot of our freedoms. Although, they will all say it's helped prevent another attack. We haven't had another attack. It's prevented another attack. Yes, but it's also, robbed us of a lot of our freedoms. How difficult is it? I mean, you must hate having to fly and having to go through everything that you have to go through, especially because you have a lot of international destinations. How different is it flying out of a foreign country than it is flying out of here?
Going through a foreign country is so easy. They don't check as much. They don't, your luggage can go through with something in it, and
what? You can have more than a 3-ounce bottle of shampoo in your luggage?
Yeah. You can go through with a knife in your bag, and most of the time they're talking to each other. They're not watching the security.
Wow.
Which is the most scary thing when you work those international flights, because you're not worried about the people who are going from California to New York. You're worried about the people who are coming from Kuwait to New York.
Right.
And it's just one of those things. As a flight attendant, though, I also have to say that I cherish the fact that people are screened. People bitch every day. My God, I've got to take my shoes off when I'm going through screening, really? Well, somebody did try to blow up a plane with their shoe.
That's true.
And it was 3 months after 9/11. It was December of 2001. And that's the thing, is there's a reason why. I mean, you know what? I complain, too, every once in a while when I go through when they take my peanut butter away. I said, it's not a liquid. What are you talking about?
And why, again, are you traveling with peanut? Well, that's for another day. but the thing about the airport security is it's BS. It's BS, and here's why. When I fly out of O'Hare, pain in the ass. When I fly out of Midway, pain in the ass. When I fly out of Vegas, pain in the ass. When I fly out of Newark, pain in the ass. When I fly out of Knoxville, nothing. It's a breeze. When I fly out of Reno, nothing. It's a breeze.
Yeah.
These smaller cities,
they're not as alert to it.
I don't even have to take my shoes off most of the time.
They're not as aware and alert to the conditions.
But what? So what? You're only going to have tight security in New York, Chicago, LA, and the big cities?
Apparently.
So that just tells me that the whole thing it's a farce. It's a farce, because if you're truly cracking down on security, then you're cracking down on security everywhere. It doesn't make it serves no purpose if the terrorist can't get on a plane in Chicago, and all he has to do is drive 90 miles and get in on Mitchell Airport, where the security is half as lax.
All it comes down to is due diligence. Parents can tell their kids not to do things, but they can't watch them 24/7. So it's the diligence of TSA, their directors at each airport, and whoever's managing as they go through and who they've decided to hire.
Well, and the other thing is the security the security at those airports, at Logan, they didn't do anything wrong on 9/11.
No.
Everything that was everything that was taken on those planes was allowed on the plane.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that a complete overhaul of the security system was necessary.
They didn't expect MacGyver to get on the plane.
MacGyver didn't get on a plane. It was box cutters.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't even that deep,
But how many times do you want to say, do you really need a box cutter on a plane?
That's
Why
true, but
are you carrying a box cutter?
I take cigar cutters on the plane. I used to all the time. I used to take lighters, for my cigars and all that on the plane.
You can take a lighter.
No, you can't.
You can't take a Zippo. You can take a Bic.
Well, what? Again, you're proving my point. You're absolutely proving my point. What's the difference?
When the threat level went down?
Yeah.
Because
There's no difference. It's still a lighter. If you're going to set something, if you're going to light your shoe on fire, you can light your shoe on fire with a Bic.
You can.
It doesn't have to be a Zippo.
You can light a Zippo and walk away from it. You can't light a Bic and walk away from it. There's a safety level.
If you've got a bomb in your shoe and you're going to blow yourself up,
you can't say the word bomb on an airplane.
You're not going to walk away from it.
Even if you're a bombardier.
Listen, we are at Gunners. It is 9/11 as we help remember 9/11 10 years later. I want to talk to some of these people that are here and get some of their remembrances of 9/11 and moving forward, how they feel about the world we live in now. So we'll take a quick break and then we'll talk to some of these people. Sound good?
All right, sounds good to me.
All right, be right back.
Do you have a question or a comment? Send us an email to alrokerjr@prodigy.net. Now, once again, here's Uncle Al.
Roker Radio, Al Roker Jr.
Hey, I'm Tyler Cox.
And we are remembering 9/11 on this 10th anniversary 10 years ago. And it doesn't really seem like 10 years ago. It kind of...
It's amazing how time flies, definitely.
The older you get, time flies a lot faster.
Is that how it's like going from MD-80 to the Concorde?
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that, yes. So
sorry, plane reference.
We want to talk to some of these people here at Gunners and see what their recollection of 9/11 is. Okay, what's your name?
Bridget.
Hi, Bridget. And where were you on 9/11 when you heard about what happened? Were you at home? Were you at work, in the car? Tell me about it.
I actually was at home, and I woke up because I had a free ticket to fly to Scotland that morning.
Whoa.
Wow, okay.
My girlfriend was getting married, and at the bachelorette party the week before, we all got free tickets to go to Scotland.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do I not know these people?
I know. It was a good thing gone really sad.
Yes, right.
But I know countless and thousands of people were affected.
So you were getting up. So when you were getting up ready to pack to go to Scotland, or you were already packed, you were going to hop in the shower, grab your bags, and head to O'Hare. Okay, so what happened when you got up?
So I get a phone call from my buddy. He goes, "Bridget, you're not flying anywhere today. Turn on your TV."
Oh, man.
And I saw it live hit the second plane and went, oh, man. And I wasn't even upset about myself, to tell you the truth. As my sister said years later, I never knew anyone more upset about the whole thing than Bridget. And she has children, and we weren't even allowed to discuss it in front of her kids. She had a completely opposite way of dealing with it than I did.
Oh, wow.
Like, she was protecting him and turning everything off, and I was listening to every station at the same time.
Yeah,
trying
definitely.
to figure out what was going on. So, yeah, handing that ticket back was a really sad day.
Well, and in the end, you can only be glad that you weren't on that plane and that you didn't get stuck somewhere.
Well, right. And then there's my girlfriend at the airport running around with her wedding dress.
Oh, man.
Trying to find a flight out. And
right.
then she made it out.
Really?
Well, I was going to say, were any of the other members of the party, were they already in the air?
Two were there. One, nobody was in the air, but she actually got one of the last flights up and out of the country before they shut everything down.
Before they realized it was multiple attacks and everything had to be shut down.
Right. It was crazy timing. And again, really wasn't a big deal for me that I missed this vacation. But that week off, I was a tour guide on the pier, on the Navy pier, and they shut the pier down.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a possible target.
It's a target.
That's right. Everything in the water plant and everything right there. So we were expecting the plane to come to Chicago. You know, they reported that one.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I got to protect anybody I know. I have family, elderly relatives. And since I had that week to think about things and really get it together, I moved. I changed my whole life. I went out there and protected them as best I could. It was incredibly life-changing. I know for millions of people, but also for me.
Right.
It was wild.
So 9/11 really ended up affecting your life. Really changed it.
And 10 years later, this couple actually got divorced.
And they
No
really,
way.
wow.
It's finalized today.
Wow, how about that?
So
Say her name.
is this a divorce celebration
I
then?
don't know. So I guess you'll have a. Did you ever make it to Scotland? Ever?
Never yet. No, but I will someday.
One day.
Well, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank
with
you
us.
so much,
Really
Bridget.
Appreciate it, and have a beer and remember or celebrate their divorce. Eric Palm joins us. He's the owner of Gunners here. Thank you for having us in your wonderful establishment. And tell us a little bit about where you were on 9/11 that morning. Were you at work? Were you at home? What happened when you heard about it?
9/11, I've been in the bar business for a long time, so naturally I don't wake up that early.
Oh, sure. Noon is right.
Right, but my downstairs neighbor at the time, who happened to be Israeli, nice guy, but just kind of a weird thing to get woken up by my Israeli neighbor saying, "Hey, did you see what they did to the Trade Center?"
Wow.
And I go, "What? Huh?"
Who's they?
Sleep out of my eyes.
Yeah.
I go down to his apartment, and he's sitting there watching, and he's used to being under attack his whole life, and being odd, and he's going, "Wow, look what happened to you guys."
So your neighbor being Israeli, and it used to be. Was he? What was his reaction to the whole thing? Was he just kind of taking it in stride?
"Quote unquote," he's like, "You guys got caught with your pants down."
Wow.
Yeah.
Shut the front door, really?
Yeah.
And
he wasn't malicious about it or anything. No, but just
he
wasn't
he's
surprised.
He would have been prepared for this.
He wasn't surprised.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Whereas I'm like, what?
when you got to his apartment and looked at the TV, at what point in the whole situation had it happened? Had the second building been hit, or where was it?
It was 11:30 in the morning.
Oh, so it was
everything
all
was
hell
already
had
done.
all hell had broken loose. The Pentagon, everything.
Yeah, I'm waking up going, whoa.
So what's going through your mind at that point?
Basically, if you remember, 10 years ago, weather-wise, it was almost the exact same day. Absolutely beautiful out.
Right.
Sunny, blue skies, temperate. And then you're watching this atrocity unfold. It's just such a juxtaposition of reality and reality.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's hard for anybody to find words to really describe how they felt, what was going through their mind, and how they were processing the information given to them that the trade centers were a hole in the ground.
Exactly.
I mean,
and they had been targeted before. There had been the parking garage bombing,
yes.
Several years earlier. So
I guess they learned then you got to go big or go home.
But and the thing is, and we were talking about it earlier, Tyler, about how you just can't wrap your mind around it because you've never seen anything like this before. No one has ever, even your Israeli friend, has never seen people fly planes into buildings before.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just complete, almost Star Wars-esque.
Right.
It's something you think of when you think of Pearl Harbor and, the Chinese planes going all over the place and movies, but you don't think of it happening in New York City on a perfect day.
And it's so visually sensational, like a science fiction movie or something.
Right.
But it's reality, and you're thinking about everybody who's perishing and what the intent is behind it, and it's just such a torque on the mind.
And that, to me, is the biggest difference between 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor, as terrible as it was, though they hit a military complex, everyone who was there had signed up for that program.
And they had training to deal with it. And it wasn't sensationalized 2 minutes later.
These are everyday Joes who are in their office going to work.
Yeah, I mean,
sitting in their cubicles
That's the
or
ultimate.
whatever.
That's the ultimate low blow.
Yeah.
Taking a shot at the civilians.
Oh, and then that day of the people going around with the pictures of like their missing husbands and and wives and just unbelievable.
It's like being that 5-year-old kid lost in the grocery store and you can't find your mom, except for you can't find anybody you know.
Anybody.
And you're as helpless as that 5-year-old because phone lines are down, nobody's getting through, it's gridlock for all types of information in New York City. It's unfathomable.
Unbelievable. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for being a Gunners, you guys. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. All right, let's talk to one more person. Hey, buddy, what's your name?
Mike Nerevich.
How you doing, Mike?
Good. How you doing?
Very good. You seem like a younger guy. How old are you?
I'll be 30 in about a month.
Okay, so you were 20 years old on 9/11.
Yeah.
Were you in college or?
Yeah, I was in college. I was in my dorm. I slept in through class. Go figure. My roommate woke me up.
You remember what class you missed?
I don't remember.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to ISU.
Okay.
For a portion of my education. My roommate came back from class and said, he woke me up. He said, "Did you hear what happened?" I'm like, "No." Turned on the TV and I just couldn't believe what I saw. So.
And when you did see it, what was going through your mind?
Like a lot of mixed emotions. Immediately it was. I think I had more anger than anything that. Some people, this could happen to innocent people and whoever. So my first initial emotion was anger, and then my thoughts went out to all the families and, the innocent lives and the people, and of course the firemen and the police officers and all the rescue response units that went out there.
Yeah, the first responders. Especially when the building came down. You go, Jesus! All the people that went, all the firefighters and policemen that went in there,
the
all
people
those
who weren't working even.
You couldn't figure out, how many people got out of the building. And one thing, and that we should definitely mention, we always talk about the loss of life, and we should. But the job that those firefighters and policemen did in getting as many people out of that building as they did. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's really unbelievable that only 3,000 people lost their lives out of those two buildings.
Yeah, and I really think it takes a special purpose. A lot of people just have jobs to work their job, where as those people, they go to work and they have a true passion for what they do. And definitely that day, you could really see it, in the faces of the people working in New York. I remember seeing on TV and just the tragedy from it, but seeing these people not blinking an eye or flinching to do what they knew what they had to do. So,
well, great. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, to end this 9/11 tribute, I was telling you earlier, Tyler, that I was on the air.
Right.
I was on the air when it happened, and I want to play just a little bit of what happened as it happened. That first hour. A lot of voices that you'll recognize from here. First and foremost, Mancow Muller, of course, and but you'll also hear myself, DJ Love Cheese, Freak, Freak's niece, Jim Jesus, lots of people, the old Q101 people, Mancow's Morning Madhouse crew. We were all on the air that morning as it happened, and what's interesting, you can kind of hear how we're kind of going through our little mundane, regular
show,
regular old shtick,
and all of a sudden,
boom, it changes in an instant. So 9/11. Hopefully, we'll never have another one.
Exactly.
But this is a rare piece of audio, so check it out, and we'll say goodbye to you now, and check you out next time.
All right, we'll see you soon.
And we'll have a lot more fun next time. I guarantee you we'll be drunk next time. How about
Beer
that?
30.
You get the drunk guarantee from Roker on the next show. Take it easy. Al Roker Jr.
I'm Tyler Cox. See ya.
And we are basing our women. I mean, what does every girl that goes into Playboy say? What does she say? Well, I wanted to express myself and reveal my...
Yeah. The body nothing to be ashamed
I
of.
wanted to reveal, and you know what? That's some dirty old man that talked him into it.
Sweet talk, smooth talk.
Yeah.
Okay, honey. No, the body's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
Take
So
your
if
clothes off.
if you open your legs and everything, yeah. A plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
Oh my God!
And we're not kidding.
Joke. No joke.
A plane went. Oh my God, guys!
Dude,
a plane
there's
is.
a hole in the World Trade Center.
Oh my God!
My God.
Fox
Oh
News.
dear Jesus,
I
guys!
have always wondered what that would be like if a plane hit the Hancock or the Sears Tower.
Guys, you.
This is
I'm sorry.
unbelievable.
Giant hole in the middle of the building.
You're going to want to turn on your TV.
Yeah.
A plane is hanging out of the World Trade Center. There are flames everywhere. We got to route some news through. Do it immediately. Oh my God! This is some of the most amazing footage I've ever seen.
Never seen anything like
If you're in your car right now, oh my God!
It looks like it's out of a Schwarzenegger flick.
It doesn't look real.
Yeah.
The World Trade Center. This is not a hoax. There is a plane hanging out of the side of the building.
There's about a 10-story hole.
Yes.
Wow.
At the top of the World Trade Center.
Love Cheese, let me know as soon as we have this. Let me know.
Wow.
Let me know as soon as we have it.
He's right behind you. Let's get it going.
Okay.
Amazing.
This is oh my God. Man Cow's Morning Madhouse, the Free Speech Radio Network. And a plane is it just happened. There is a plane
Obviously went in on one side and came out the other. There's debris all over the ground
broke
down
through
below.
on part.
Yeah, exactly. And as you can see, it affects perhaps 10 floors of the World Trade Center building. It is over 100 stories tall. It is the tallest structure in New York City. It is near the flight path for Newark. Right.
And many times, whenever people for Newark, Kennedy, or LaGuardia, when those planes are put into rotation as they're waiting for landing, they circle around this area, which is right near the Statue of Liberty. It is almost 9 o'clock here on the East Coast, and let me tell you, folks are in that building early, and without a doubt, there are many people who were impacted by this.
It's speculated that the plane is as big as a 737.
It went through the building, guys.
Floors. As I see from this angle, it seems like more than 3 floors, and perhaps what's most disturbing, Edie, I think, is the time of day.
This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
This is you will never forget this, folks. This is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. What about on the ground? Did the plane come out the other side? Where is the plane?
No kidding.
They've got a side angle now, and you can see it has gone through one side and the other. They've got, it's a square building, and they've taken it from the side, and you can see where it went in and out. 10 stories. Smoke is billowing out, and now our feed has gone dead.
Lower Manhattan,
what is Love Cheese doing? Run! Find out what Love Cheese is doing. I want to know the latest on this.
They lost control, but I can't see something like that. I mean, it was like right into the building, so and it was coming low. Because if I were to see a plane that was going high, and all right, but this was coming low. It's very visible.
Can you see the streets below the World Trade Center?
It is like
because I'm.
I want to see the streets below the World Trade Center, and it is. It is like a cartoon. It is like a cartoon.
It is.
And where somebody runs through a wall and you see their outline, you can see the outline of the plane.
And you can see flames shooting out of the building as well through the smoke.
You can't get a fire truck to that.
No, it's 100 stories
You can't get a ladder to that.
You can't do anything.
How do they put out forest fires?
Oh, maybe that's
the
how they'll do it.
helicopters
Yeah,
from above?
helicopter choppers with water, maybe.
Yeah, but that's not going to do anything from inside the building. Guys, will the top of the building fall? That corner is gone.
Yes.
And now will the top fall? Oh, my God. Okay, we'll be back.
Dude,
this is
another
plane.
Oh, my God!
Oh, my God! We just watched it!
I just saw it! Another plane just flew into the other building!
There you go.
Oh, my God!
Another plane just flew into the second tower. This raises... This has to be deliberate, folks.
Well, that would begin to say that, yeah.
We just saw on live television as a second plane flew into
Jesus God,
the second tower of the World Trade Center.
What is happening?
Given
Jesus
what
God
has been going on around the world.
Oh dear Lord!
Some of the
oh my
some
God,
of the key
guys!
Suspects come to mind. Osama bin Laden.
Oh,
who knows what?
Oh my God,
Eric
guys!
Sean is with us. Eric, I know you have.
We were standing here. Another plane live on television flew into the other tower.
The other tower it hit.
Yes,
both
yes.
towers now.
Walking down Fifth Avenue.
Jonathan! Jonathan!
Yes, Manco.
Did
Yes,
you
Manco.
just see that?
Oh my God, that was crazy! What is going on?
It's the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Over Fifth Avenue, making a right. I'm not going to say, I don't know, I don't have any reports on what type of plane hit the World Trade Center, but people looked up.
How are they talking so calmly? Folks, 30 seconds ago, a minute ago, live on television, a plane crashed into the second tower.
Yep.
The specter of an intentional terrorist attack.
How can it not be intentional?
The specter proves it.
Say what type of plane hit the tower, but I did see a jet airliner that was fairly low. It was unusual.
Guys, I am almost in tears.
I'm
almost crying.
I am aghast. I am sorry. I don't know what to say. My management is going to be mad at me. For God's sakes, get to a television. Get to a television. This is one of the most powerful moments in American history, certainly in my lifetime. Live television. A plane goes through the building, we're watching it, and then a second plane crashes through the second building.
The World Trade Center.
Attack.
How can they ask if this is intentional? If you are sitting at home watching on TV, call us. Let's go to Pat. Pat, hello.
How you doing, man, Cal?
Oh, my God, will there be a third?
I'm part of a unit that's called a Tactical Response Team. And for that to be mobilizing us in Chicago means one of two things.
What? Reports of explosion at the Pentagon?
Hold on. Now the Pentagon's on an explosion at the Pentagon.
We just know reports of explosion
The
at the
extent of
Pentagon.
that, but we do have word that there's been an explosion at the Pentagon as well. And there are some smoke clouds.
That's the Pentagon?
That we can see.
Now the Pentagon is on fire. A major fire at the Pentagon.
They just evacuated the White House. White House has been evacuated, and there is a fire at the Pentagon.
Guys, we are the second largest building next to the Pentagon in America. Should we be getting the hell out of here?
I think maybe we should.
I don't know. It's scary right now. If you watch on TV, they're flashing all over the place.
So this footage here, I thought this was probably the ground in New
No,
York.
no.
That's Washington,
The
D.C.
Pentagon. That's Washington, D.C.
You know, it's
Were you just listening?
What?
The World Trade Center is crumbling. It's crumbling into pieces now. The first one.
John, it was, and
look at this.
They thought they could do it
gone.
by putting
Look.
charges
Oh
down.
my
on bases
God.
and,
It's gone.
And damaging the understructure.
What happened? What happened?
It crumbled. It imploded.
It fell off?
fell.
The first tower collapsed.
Oh, my God. I did see it. Now the
To a large degree.
now the top has fallen off into New York
The whole
City.
thing collapsed. It just collapsed. The top didn't fall off. The whole thing collapsed.
No wonder the whole island is engulfed in smoke. It's gone. That's why. It's dust. It's like when they implode a building.
Exactly. That's what I was looking at the picture, and they showed all the smoke, and I was like, "What is it? An explosion?" It collapsed. So if there's anybody in any part of that building, the whole thing collapsed.
We'll be right back. Let's do a moment of silence here, as suggested by our listener. We'll be right back.
You can be sure that as terrible a day as this is for us, we will get through it because we are a strong nation, a nation that believes in itself.
Bodies flying out of the sky and you can't do nothing about it. You tell me what you think.
The victims were in airplanes or in their offices. Secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads.
We're going to just keep digging. We're going to keep trying to reach them. We're going to keep seeing if we hear noise, keep seeing if we can pull people out of there alive.
He just said, I want to let y'all know that I love you very, very much in case I don't see you again. That the plane has been taken over by hijackers. And then I said, well, we love you very much too, Mark.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.